If you were to tell 10 people you're moving to Austin, Texas, you'd get 12 opinions if 2 of those people have split personalities. Half the country thinks Austin is the happiest accident in American urban planning, a place where tech jobs rain from the sky, tacos are divine, and the entire city is permanently 72 degrees with a light breeze. The other half thinks Austin is a once great college town now fighting off a midlife crisis brought on by 300,000 people who moved in because they wanted sunshine and a realistic shot at homeownership. The truth, as usual, sits comfortably in the middle, right next to a person who moved there last week and already has strong opinions. Austin's reputation is almost mythical, a city that grew from a quirky college and government town into one of the most talked about places in the United States. For many people, it became the escape hatch from expensive coastal living. For others, it was a place where booming job markets might finally unlock that elusive goal of buying a house somewhere you'd actually want to live. Austin became the poster child for the modern American dream, less about the white picket fence and more about a decent cost of living, a stable job, and a life that isn't slowly draining your soul. But as Austin's star rose, so did the rent, the traffic, and the number of people asking, wait, what happened to the Austin I kept hearing about? So let's walk through the city, its growth, its costs, its opportunities, and the trade-offs, and figure out whether the American dream still lives here or it picked up and moved on to Round Rock. If the American dream had a nemesis, it would probably be real estate. And in Austin, real estate behaves like it's had way too much caffeine. Once upon a time, not even that long ago, Austin was the kind of city where you could rent a decent one-bedroom apartment without needing a cosigner, a trust fund, or a genie popping out of a lamp. That era is long gone. The city's population spike sent the housing market into orbit. Homes that sold for $200,000 in 2010 now are listed for $500,000. If you want to live near downtown or anywhere with South or East in its name, good luck. Realtors don't even ask what your budget is anymore. They just look at you, evaluate your hopes and dreams, and then suggest somewhere 30 minutes outside the city. Renters haven't had it easy either. A decent one-bedroom apartment will always be north of about $1,400 a month. 2 bedrooms routinely break $2,000. And it's not just the housing. Groceries sit a bit above the national average. Transportation costs aren't cheap in a city built for cars. The childcare could knock the wind out of even the strongest budget. For many families, the American dream in Austin isn't about buying a nice home. It's about finding anything with 4 walls before someone else snatches it up. This isn't to say Austin is unaffordable for everyone. People moving from pricier states often arrive with bigger paychecks and larger savings, and to them, Austin still looks like a bargain. But for families who grew up in the area or workers outside the tech bubble, the cost of living can feel a lot like being invited to a party and discovering you accidentally wandered into the VIP section. What keeps Austin's popularity alive isn't the housing market, it's the job market. Austin became the tech magnet capital almost by accident. First came a few startups, then Apple built an enormous campus up north, then Google planted its flag downtown, then Tesla rolled into town with a gigafactory, and that's not even counting Meta, IBM, Dell, Samsung, and the swarm of smaller tech companies with names like Quantum Blitz or Data Cloudify. If you're in tech, Austin can feel like you won a career lottery. Salaries are high, opportunity are abundant, and the work-life balance, well, theoretically, it exists somewhere. Engineers making 6 figures can manage the cost of living and still enjoy a city filled with outdoor fun, great food, and more concerts than most cities have traffic lights. But beneath the flashier jobs is a different reality entirely. Austin's median household income sits around $60,000, far below what it takes to live comfortably in this city. Teachers, nurses, retail workers, and other people who actually make the city run often face a much tougher climb. Many commute from the suburbs because living in the city is out of reach. So some work 2 jobs just to stay afloat. There's a quiet divide in Austin that doesn't get mentioned in all the glossy relocation articles. One group is riding the economic wave, while another is treading water and praying the tide doesn't rise any higher. Both groups live in the same city, but their Austin experiences are very different. Yet economically, Austin is still one of the strongest metros in the country. Job growth is steady, unemployment is low, and new companies continue to announce expansions. For many, the city remains a symbol of American opportunity. For others, it's a reminder that opportunity doesn't always pay as well as it should. The quality of life. On a good day, Austin is almost unfairly beautiful. Paddleboarders float across Lady Bird Lake, cyclists weave down trails framed by green canopies, Barton Springs sparkles so clearly you expect it to hum a theme song, downtown buzzes with energy, food trucks smell like heaven, and the city's music scene makes even the most washed-up artists sound like they're legends. It's no wonder people romanticize about Austin. Living here feels like being handed a lifestyle brochure with a dog park on every page. The education system is mixed, but the suburban districts like Eanes and Round Rock are top tier. Healthcare has improved with the city's growth, but demand is often outpaced by supply, leading to long waits and crowded facilities. Still, compared to cities of similar size, Austin's healthcare system holds its own. The culture is where Austin really shines. The food scene is phenomenal. The art scene is still alive. Festivals everywhere with South by Southwest, ACL, Pecan Street Festival, countless others whose names sound like craft beers. Outdoor recreation is practically the city's love language. But behind the sunshine and tacos is a growing sense of strain. Traffic has gotten so bad that some residents schedule their entire lives around peak congestion. The public transit system exists, but only in the same sense that unicorns technically exist. You may have seen one once, but you didn't get to ride it. Infrastructure is constantly playing catch-up, struggling to keep pace with a population that grows faster than anyone can build. There's also a cultural shift. Austin once prided itself on being weird. Now it's fashionable, expensive, and quickly becoming the place where people debate whether the city is losing its soul or simply growing up. The quality of life is still high, but the cost of that quality isn't evenly shared. Every city has its issues, but Austin's tend to be the type that show up to your house uninvited and stay for months. The traffic is the biggest complaint. I-35 might actually be a myth invented by traffic engineers to scare their children. The city's road system was never meant for this many people, and it shows. Commutes can stretch into miniature road trips. Driving across town sometimes feels like a documentary about patience. Infrastructure struggles are another universal frustration. Austin has faced boil water notices that make the residents suddenly question their entire relationship with tap water. Power outages remind everyone that Texas has its own special relationship with the electric grid. Schools are often overcrowded, and construction is everywhere because the only thing growing faster than the population is the number of cranes in the skyline. Then there's the environment. Flood risks in low-lying neighborhoods, wildfire concerns out west, heat waves that feel like the sun temporarily moved into your guest room. Austin residents work through all of this with a combination of grit, mild humor, and iced coffee. But the biggest challenge might be the cultural shift. Longtime residents worry that Austin is becoming too expensive and too polished. Newcomers struggle to reconcile the city's reputation with the reality they moved into. Neighborhoods can change quickly, sometimes faster than people can actually settle in. The sense of community is still there, but it's stretched thinner than before. For years, Austin was the hottest destination in America. Californians moved in by the thousands, turning "Welcome to Austin" signs into something closer to traffic warnings. The city grew so quickly that it sometimes felt like it needed a seatbelt. But in recent years, something interesting happened. People started leaving Austin too, not in droves, but in noticeable numbers. The cost of living caught up to many of the families. Traffic wore people down. Some felt the city became too crowded and lost some of its charm. Others simply found cheaper options elsewhere, sometimes just an hour south in San Antonio. Austin is still a net gaining city, but the margin is narrowing. The dream is still alive, but people are more cautious now. The sheen has worn off for some. The city isn't a secret anymore, and with fame comes expectations and disappointment. Austin is in a transitional era. It could lead the country in sustainable growth if it invests heavily in infrastructure, transit, and affordability. The city has the money, the talent, and the momentum. But if Austin expands without addressing its pains, it risks becoming exactly what people moved here to avoid: congestion, overpriced, stressful, and stratified. The likeliness future sits in the middle. Austin won't collapse. It probably won't return to its quirky, cheap paradise of the 1990s and early 2000s. It will remain a booming, high-opportunity city with a high cost of living. It will still attract creatives, ambitious people, and everyone with a guitar, and it'll still drive them all crazy in traffic. The American dream in Austin won't die. It'll just continue evolving into something more urban, more expensive, and more complicated. So is the American dream still alive in Austin, Texas? Absolutely. But it's not the same dream that brought people here 15 years ago. It's a dream for people who can navigate a competitive job market, afford the housing, and handle the growing pains. It's a dream for people who love sunshine and don't mind neighbors whose dogs have their own Instagram accounts. It's a dream of people who see opportunity, not just stability, but in growth, even messy, chaotic growth. For others, the dream may be found somewhere nearby, maybe in Kyle, Georgetown, or Round Rock, or in another city entirely. Austin is still the most compelling city in America. It's still full of young energy, creativity, and ambition. But like any fast-growing city, it comes with trade-offs. The American dream here is alive. It's just not always affordable and definitely not traffic-free. Alright, that's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Go out, have a great day, be nice to each other.